Basim, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
What brings you to Middle East electricity?
Well, it's one of the most important shows in the region, if not the world. And for us, it's important to meet exhibitors, find out what's going on from a technology perspective, meet partners that we work with, government agencies, and just know what's happening in this very important industry of ours.
So you're speaking about manufacturing in the GCC and how to make that globally competitive. What is the key messaging that you're bringing out in that?
Many countries in the sector of renewable energy try to create jobs using this important industry. What we are speaking about tomorrow in this event is whether it is competitive to manufacture locally products such as PV panels, wind turbines, etc. Several countries, including South Africa, India, parts of countries like Ontario, Canada, have put advantages for local content manufacturing, and that has worked in creating tens of thousands of jobs. So it's really the regulatory platform that adds value for local content that can make this work. Competing on cost only is very difficult with countries like China, where they have very high economies of scale, support by their governments, which has led to anti-dumping policies in the EU and the US. So it isn't interesting, in my opinion. It should be done via a proper regulatory work.
You've been out here for 7 years. How have you seen the market develop?
On the renewable energy side, it has become very competitive. 7 years ago, you could have sold the kilowatt hour from a utility scale plant for 15 to 20 US cents. Now you're in the 3 to 4 cents. In less than 5-6 years. So you're talking about a huge drop. Now there has been a parallel drop in cost, but it hasn't been that huge, right? So the margins of independent power producers have shrunk to a level where we have to start thinking about adding more value than just the conventional power production. Such value could come from storage, for example. So today, the world is moving towards a world free of fossil fuel generation. To do that, you need storage to give you clean electricity 24/7. And I think we are close to that point where storage is cost effective to be able to do that.
Do you think you'd be able to deploy it in this region of the world for that same price point?
Not the 4 cents today, but you can do it. So the idea is to be at grid parity in the country you operate in. Some countries import fuel. It's costing them 13, 14 cents to generate from fossil fuel. So we can probably do that. With solar and storage today, we can hit the 13, 14 cent parity level. And in 1 to 2 years, we'll be even lower than that because the price of storage is coming down. In countries that are oil producing, like the GCC, it will be probably a bit later in the game, unless the governments subsidize this, just like anywhere else in the world.
So where do you see this all going?
It is going in the direction of base loading renewable energy, using storage. I see that happening. Hybrid, so wind, solar, and storage. Peak shaving initially, and then going for 24/7. I think that is happening. In countries that are blessed with more consistent renewable energy sources like hydro, waves or tidal waves, these guys already have 24/7 generation, like in the Nordic countries, Holland, for example. In this part of the world, you need to find chemical storage, batteries basically, that are cost effective, and I think we're very close to that. It will happen.
Do you require policy to help drive this, or will it purely be on price?
No, it will definitely necessitate proper regulatory platform to regulate the output of those consistent clean energy sources, make sure that they do not adversely affect the grid that you are pouring these electrons on, make sure that your price point is competitive and is subsidized in a way initially by the government, but then more competitive as the market grows and as the cost drops. So no, a proper regulatory, even legislative platform is important, I think.
What's most exciting you?
The idea that the world is moving in that direction. Scotland a month ago decided not to invest any penny in conventional power generation. Zero. It's the first country in the world. So we're talking about countries saying no more fossil fuel, Now, it's bad for oil-generating countries, producing countries like the GCC, but I think they're beyond that. You look at what Masdar is doing, what Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid is doing in Dubai. Saudi now have announced a $30 billion plan for renewable energy, and I think they see this coming. That they have to, their economies have to stop depending solely on oil and move more towards less conventional, more renewable power sources.
Basim, that was fascinating. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.